1 minute, 37 seconds later. A few minutes later.
Yeah, sorry, I would have had this all set up, but Jehovah's Witness came. So...
Don't blame them. How can you say this?
Nah, they set me back like 10 minutes. So
You weren't talking that long.
we were talking about 10 minutes, yeah. Because that's why I missed your call.
But I saw when they knocked your door, didn't I?
Did you?
I wasn't waiting outside 10 minutes. There's no way. I would have started knocking their doors.
Were you on that road?
I
You
was
saw me?
literally standing there, yeah. I didn't see you. I saw two people talking.
Oh, okay, so... Oh, well. Well, how long were you out there then?
Was I really standing out there 10 minutes? Lucky no one tried to pick me up.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I'm going the same.
Yeah, she's a pagan for real.
I can't go the same, man. Diabolical.
We watched it before all of the analysis on that, innit? So actually, she tricked me a couple of times still.
Yeah, I was convinced.
Nah,
the whole thing.
Nah, when she brought out the keys.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah, when he dropped the bag, I was like, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Even when she was fumbling for them, I was like,
So
keys.
sorry.
I started to work out though. When she was like, what's happening? I was like, you know. I was like, you know.
I was thinking, oh, she's not in on it with the family's deed or some shit like that. It was like, I thought it was just appearance at first. And she had me fooled. So.
Yeah, Rose is a pagan. But yeah, I think we're all set. Everything's recording. We're on live now. Okay, so I got Sherice here with me first time. So I'll need to explain things to you just now. Got Charlie here, got Gladys here. So basically, have you listened to any of the previous Pic.Thinks? Which ones?
With Ravine, Charlie. Oh, it's the one that I missed. What was the one that I missed again? The one that I wanted to come to. Narcos. That one.
Oh, so then that must have been Gus and
sorry.
Gus and Ravine. So basically, yeah, usually it's a three section structure where I'll ask you like a hypothetical question first of all, and then you kind of give like your own answer to that question, and it's kind of like a glimpse into who you are as a person with by using the film. It's basically related to the film in some sort of way. So I'll ask you, if you had the chance to do so and so, what would you do? Blah blah blah, stuff like that. And then we kind of get into the review, and then it's kind of like the deeper question where it's more philosophical. It will require a bit more thought, stuff like that. Okay. So, but first off, we're doing Jordan Peele's Get Out, and before we get into the hypothetical question, I'm going to ask you to plug your social media if you want people to find you. Gladys, if you want people to follow your YouTube channel, this is the opportunity to plug it in.
Well, my YouTube is G Vanessa, and then I've got Twitter as well. I can't remember all my apps. Twitter G Vanessa X.
G Vanessa, yeah, X is X.
XX.
Yeah, and then it's X.
How do you know?
Because I have to always write it when I'm doing the...
Yeah, so on Twitter it's G Vanessa X, and then on Instagram it's G Vanessa XX.
Yeah.
And you can follow me on Snapchat, Glass Banks. Keeping it real.
That's Glass with a Z.
Yeah, with a Z.
Yeah.
My YouTube's G Vanessa, like I said.
Yeah. Charlie, you want to plug in you have a YouTube channel?
Find me on YouTube, CE on and on. CE on and on. That's it.
Okay, cool. And your videos are usually through other YouTube channels, aren't they?
Yeah, Grand Daily, check Grand Daily.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thought as much. Sherice, if you want people to find you, if not, you just say nah.
Nah, I'm good. No new friends.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's private anyway.
First of all, I'm gonna ask: what films have you guys recently watched, like in the cinema or just on Netflix or something? That's of interest.
It wasn't a film, innit, but I watched Dirty John. That was mad.
Was that a TV show?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Dirty John. What happens in that?
So basically, this guy in it is a sociopath and he stalks women. But I don't know, I think he's a gold digger. Based on a true story. Long story short, he conned his latest woman and her daughter killed him in the back by the end, innit? Just like stabbed him.
Oh, so you just spoil it to people.
In it. Wait, it's a series, right?
Seriously.
How long? Like, how many series are there?
Just one season.
Oh.
It's based on a true story, and so I just think they're getting out of the way. That's it, one season.
There's a lot of one seasons on Netflix, isn't there?
Mindhunt, Unabomber.
What's that?
Please watch that. It is so good. It's about back in the day when they were trying to, like, Unabomber, the serial killer.
No.
I heard Unabomber, but I don't know the story. I don't know.
He sent like loads of nail bombs to random people, and no one could understand the link or why. Like the victimology wasn't like set, so they couldn't figure out why. And they brought this guy who just came out of training school. Apparently he rated high in the class and stuff like that, so they brought him like just to test him out and whatever. And then they tried to make him like the person who just ran and got coffee, like all that. And then on his own, that guy started to investigate the case. Then he brought his thoughts forward, and they tried to dismiss it at first, and then they started to see where he was coming from, and yeah.
But they started to see where the Unabomber was coming from, why he was sending bombs.
No, they were understanding because the FBI agent started to work out the victimology, and I don't want to let on too much because I really want you lot to watch it. I don't want to do that.
It's called Unabomber on Netflix.
Like, you need to watch it. Mindhunt Unabomber. It's so good, and it's a psychological thing, and it's how they brought about language analysis. So watch it. It's so good. Maybe that's show. Maybe
it's crime, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, because you're interested.
That's what I watch.
Yeah, that's what you watch. Right?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
that's what I watch.
Makes sense, though.
Oh, this part.
The deer.
I got this straight away, like innocent people.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, because I was like, why is he feeling? And I was like, oh my God, I wonder if it's like.
So we're talking about Get Out now.
Sorry.
No. It's fine. It's fine. We're talking about Get Out now, which the deer getting killed by Rose is driving. And so what do you say? You felt like it's the innocent people.
Yeah, and like because the way he was crying, I was like, why are you identifying with him? I was like, oh my God, he identifies with it. Innocent people getting killed and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's just my interpretation, but that's what I gathered from it.
It's a metaphor for the black men in America.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I thought of it. And then it got that
brought back up.
Yeah, when the dad was like, "Oh, they're rats and stuff like that."
Yes,
I was right. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly that. And also the same thing where even at the end, when he has the deer on the head, like even like their trophies, kind of thing, or like their things to be possessed or things to be appropriated, that kind of thing. This movie is very, very good.
Very deep.
Very deep. Very deep. See, do you understand the reason why we told you to watch it continuously? And then you were refusing. For what reason?
I was trying to back it. I was going to really come here and try to like it. I was going to be like,
Oh my days. Okay, so what films are you anticipating this year? Us, yeah, I'm anticipating that. Jordan Peele again.
There's something else, but I can't remember.
So the Avengers is meant to be coming out.
Yeah, next month. So April 20, it's either 24th or 14th, I can't remember, but Game of Thrones as well. April 14th. Don't.
I need to watch the whole of the fucking first bit. Well, 8 seasons, 5 seasons?
7 seasons.
I told one of my kids I watched it, innit? So now he's gonna keep coming back to me. I really understand. I don't know how to say this. You're gonna binge that.
No. You're like, I've seen it. And then in your head, you're like, stop, like, what are you doing? I've done that before many times. No, I've done that before. Oh my gosh, we lie for no reason.
Unnecessary.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Game of Thrones, I'm definitely anticipating that. Dumbo, I'm anticipating that. I haven't even seen the original, but the live version's coming out with Danny DeVito. Plan to watch that. I'm planning to watch all the Disney movies that are coming out, pretty much. The originals.
Aladdin
As well. What do you guys think about the Will Smith thing with the blue? Have you seen him?
Yeah, what's wrong with it? It's Aladdin, isn't it?
No. But people were thinking that like it was kind of like
We shouldn't do it.
no, not before it. Before they actually saw the blue face put onto him, people were like anticipating. Then when they actually saw it, they felt like it was traumatizing or something like that.
What?
Traumatizing? How?
Not traumatizing like literally, but like as in like, why would they do that? Who's actually approved of that kind of thing?
But it's Aladdin. Aladdin's blue, no?
No, the genie.
The genie.
Oh, the genie. Oh yeah, genie is blue.
Yeah, of course.
So,
But no, I think it's just like the way that they've done it they didn't do it with tact and taste, I suppose. That's what people are arguing, I suppose.
Or was he meant to be like darker blue?
No, not it's not a race thing. It's not a race thing. I think it's just like it just didn't look good. That's what people are saying. That it wasn't executed well.
You're not dead still.
Yeah, that's people say.
I don't care.
I don't really care. I don't really care myself too much. I just want to see it in action. I'll judge it through the action, rather than just on the 15 seconds.
I thought it was Photoshop. Is that the real one?
To be fair, I haven't seen it properly.
What do you mean, as in the real one that's going to be used in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was Photoshop. I thought it was a joke. I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. Feel free to eat as much fruit as you want to. Anything else? Well, the main film in that Disney thing I'm anticipating is Lion King.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Lion King. I don't know any other films that I can think of that I'm anticipating this year.
What's that,
Captain Marvel.
I heard it was
It's not.
reviews still.
It's good.
It's good. It's not like a must see, I'll say.
Really?
It's not a must see. There's nothing that you're going to see in it that's going to make you think, it's like a good introduction. That's it. Like, you know how Black Panther was a good Black Panther was a great introduction.
All right. You better use the right words. Roll up my sleeves.
Yeah, Wakanda Fever.
But-
good introduction.
But yeah, Captain Marvel was like a good introduction. It's better than certain films like Captain America.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's better than Captain America, like the first one.
People saying that's the best one.
People don't know what it's called. Captain first one.
Yeah, they're saying Marvel can't even top that film.
They must be talking about Civil War. They're not
Civil
talking
War.
about. No, I'm not talking about that.
No, what's it? The Winter Soldier.
No, that's the second one.
All right, second one.
The first one, the first Avenger. That's the first one. That one's just like.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about pilots. Sorry, no.
Pilots, yeah. That's like a good introduction, but that one was like a mediocre introduction. But yeah, like things like Iron Man is a good introduction, Black Panther is a good introduction, but this one was like Iron Man was a great introduction. This
I think we're expecting a lot from the Marvel Universe now as well.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is, and it kind of got a bit like when you watch Captain Marvel, like the first half of it is like, okay, it's not. I don't want to say serious, but it's like there's a certain tone. But then from like midway, it kind of gets a bit too silly, a bit like they're trying to force humor a bit more. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Kind of like Thor Ragnarok, but not working that well.
What did you see in the cinema?
Yeah. I saw it on, I think, the day after it came out. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to the hypothetical question I have for Get Out. So I was going to say, if you were to boil down the meaning of racism into one sentence, what would you define it as?
Treating someone bad because they're from a different race.
Okay, so yeah, basically treating someone bad because they're from a different race. Okay, so what would classify as being treated bad? Being treated bad.
Any form of prejudice.
Prejudice.
Yeah.
Jeez, you got unlocked, boy.
I think racism is like hatred. Because I always see there's a difference between like ignorance and just pure hate, if that makes sense. Racism is like you hate that person because of the race, something that they can't control.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, fucking racism. It's to do with hatred.
Mm-hmm. The dictionary definition that always stays in my head, and Charlie, same as you, I think, because I think Miss Francis read out the definition to us in geography or history or one of them. It's to think your race is superior to another.
Mm.
That one always sticks in my head as the definition. But now it's kind of like, with this film, I'm kind of starting to see that it's a bit more than that. Because if you kind of think about the way that white people are treating black people, it's not in a way that they're inferior. It's in a way that they would want to be black people or have the things that black people have that are more superior than white people.
Mm-hmm. But that's still weird to say, because for them to do them actions in the first place is still inferior, you get me? Like obviously there's it can be endearing for them to say, oh, they're big and black, so it's good to watch them wrestle each other, for example, in the slavery times. It doesn't mean that we're superior.
But if they want to adopt those attributes, how does it not make us superior?
Because from when they can harness it and take it from us, we have no superiority in the matter.
Yeah. Like
it depends. Like, you know, it depends on, like, because they might have, like, you know, in the clip at the end where he was watching the TV with the granddad saying, with our determination and your attributes, we could blah, 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 blah. So I think it's more like, not that one is superior to the other, but he's seeing it as, oh, we're good at this and you're good at this. So let me use this to make myself. Of course, I think that it is racism. I still think it's racism. It's not that I'm saying that it's not. I'm saying that though it's like.
But I think you're trying to include it in the fact that the black people may have some superiority in a sense. I'm saying now, because just because the birds can fly don't mean they're superior to us. We like that attribute, so we created things and invented things that can simulate that in it, but they're not superior in any sense. Like a bird, like the flying element, that's superior to us. We can't do that, innit?
Yeah. Why would you say that? If you say that that's superior to us,
no, it's not.
How is it not? In terms of flight, in terms of
being
in general. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in terms of that attribute, it would be superior, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what I'm saying.
But it doesn't mean that they're superior over us.
Yeah, it just means that they have that one quality that
that we would want or that we admire.
Yeah, not me.
So yeah, I think the definition still stands.
No, but like,
it's still superior.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking this is because I came across a word called negrophilia, and I felt like it was kind of contradictory, where it was like it's a form of racism, but in the definition of the word is love. Like philia means to love or to desire. How can you desire something that you think is lesser than you? If that makes sense. Because if we're creatures of black, because we desire, let's say, as Christians or as religious people, you believe that your mission on earth is to desire God, for example, or to want to be with God, for example. How can you chase after that if you believe that that thing that you're chasing after is in some way inferior?
That's like saying, how can patriarchy work if we're desired to women and we still think they're lesser than us? I'm not saying I do sitting right here, right now. I'm saying that's what the whole argument is about, and the feminist argument. So, of course, we can desire something and still be superior.
I don't understand. Say that a little bit more. Explain that a little bit more.
Like, patriarchy works because men are on top of women, right?
Yeah.
And what do men desire the most? Women.
Depends. You could say that men desire power over women.
Power is a power.
Well, the rape statistic will kind of show otherwise, isn't it?
But rape is power over women.
100%, but it's like sex is the base root in it, and it's like sex. Men want sex a lot in it, and for your point, I'm just counteracting it with another situation.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no.
So, like, yeah, obviously you can desire something and still feel like you're superior.
Okay, so wait. Okay, I'm gonna
thinking.
Okay, but now I'm gonna bring it back to a point that you made when we recorded for Atlanta. You said that if you're chasing a race, you're hating your own. So how can you hate your own and think you're superior?
I just gave an example though. I just gave a context of it.
No, but I'm saying from you, what you've said.
You can go back and forth with different contexts where it applies and where it doesn't, innit? But if it's not a totality, then I don't think it's a totality, and so it's not absolute kind of thing. I just feel like you can be attracted to something, you can want something from someone and still feel like you're better. Just because I'm the richest man in the world doesn't mean I don't want your taxes to add on top. Like, I still want that, yeah. I'm still superior, yeah. I don't think one negates the other.
I get what you mean, but then I don't a bit. Like, it's very confusing.
Just a bit, what do you get?
Because if you desire something that someone else has, you lack something.
Yeah, so you can't.
Yeah, but you can. I see what you're saying. That you can still be superior to something like, but then superior doesn't necessarily mean perfect, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So superior doesn't mean that you have everything. It just means that
You have the
More than.
you have the most. Do you know what I mean? So you can still want from something else to make you perfect. Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay, so moving on to the review of this film, Get Out.
Wicked.
You liked it?
Wicked.
Yeah. I knew you'd like it, remember? I could actually imagine. No, I think I can actually imagine you when you're watching it and the reaction that you have at certain points. Like when he found the pictures in the cupboard. I think I could imagine your reaction to it.
Oh my god!
How was your reaction to it? Because then it had all the butler and the maid and.
Oh my days! When was it Georgina? Is that her name?
Yeah.
When it got to her picture, I went. And do you know what Ket said to me when she was telling me to watch it? She goes to me, because I have a thing with watching movies over and over again. If I really like it, I watch it over and over. And she was like, "It's gonna be one of them movies that you continue watching, knowing you."
That's what I would think.
She is right, mate. I'm telling you, I'm due to watch this when I get home just to pick out things I missed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. Oh my god! When I saw that picture thing, it was like, because I weren't getting it. I just saw like loads of black guys with her. I weren't realizing that was the butler. Blah blah blah. It was only when I got to Georgina, I was like, oh, oh no, she was a wicked actress.
Yeah.
Remember when the brother put him in a headlock, right, and they went up to him and she's brushing her teeth, she's walking back, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
And in my head I was thinking, you know when my mum always says to me, it's all right you marrying a white person, blah blah blah, but it's all right marrying that person, but you got to think about their family. And the woman or the man might think, oh yeah, my family are racist, but they don't really know what their family think and say behind their back. And I was when I saw her getting mad while she was brushing her teeth, saying, "Oh, I can't believe my parents are like this," blah blah. I didn't know. I was thinking in my head, they don't really know, and it brought back to what my mom said to me, like, you need to know who you're marrying into as well, and are they really accepting of you? Like, this is what. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then tonight she was in on it. I was like, what? And then that made me think as well. So does that mean that I don't have a partner? That's why I'm asking, is he on it? I was going mad. Like, it just made me just. This movie is dangerous still. It's dangerous because I'm just going to be like.
Gonna be wary. Okay.
What do you feel like is right for like Jordan Peele to kind of imply that everyone should be wary no matter?
Do you know what?
It opens eyes. Like,
but then it will make you too paro. I think.
I think that's the aim of this film.
What?
To make you too paro.
No. That's not his intention. I think his intention is what he said, like to kind of
make people wary.
Because he comes from a mixed race household himself. So does his best friend. He does his kind of work with him in it. So if they're saying this is how.
Oh, I didn't know that. You know.
Yeah, Key and Peele in it. They have a comedy series that we've been watching since we was in 11, and they're hilarious. So then for him to come out of this, I was like, yo, geez, our guy. And then, so it must be their perception of what like two races colliding is, or is it not that? Are they coming from a nice household and they're showing us the other side? Isn't it? It'd be interesting to ask that.
I have a few quotes from certain interviews that he's done, so we can talk about that. So he says, the motivation, with his interview with The Guardian, with Andrew Anthony. Jordan Peele says his motivation for the movie. He said, I felt it was important, first and foremost, to get the entire audience on board with the inherent fears that a black man has.
Is that your rule?
No. A fairly consistent part of my experience as a black man is worrying about how I'm going to be perceived in the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's one of those pieces of the African American experience that people don't know is always there when you're out of place or feel out of place. You feel like there's danger there. So I was going to ask after this question, can we understand or personally relate to this feeling?
So,
yeah.
So what? He's not okay. So is he sort of saying that? So he's basically illustrating our fears. But would you say he's made it? Oh, sorry. Let me ask you your question first. Go on. What was your question? I
said no. You'd have answered it, but you're going to go on to ask me a question. So carry on. Because I asked you, can you relate to it, and then you said okay. You said yeah, but does that mean? What are you going to ask?
I can relate to it. In certain situations when not even going to neighborhoods and stuff, but even like discussing. So when I'm at work and I'm the only black person, I am sort of like, what do they think about me? And I sort of hedge my words and I don't say certain slang words. And they still good. And you don't want to.
You don't want to wear your hoodie and that.
Very uncomfortable. And, do you know what I mean? Like, exactly. Definitely.
Your face is normal. People are asking you, "You alright?"
Yeah.
It's just okay.
And it's also like how you're just always conscious of how they are going to perceive you.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if they ask you certain questions, like it could be like calm questions like, "Oh, what sort of music do you listen to?"
And you're just like,
halfway through. What artist shall I pick that they'll know? And I'll like, do you get what I mean? So it's just like everything that's literally filtered, and you've always got that sense of how they're gonna perceive me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's always like at work, you always have that one colleague though that you can kind of open up to, but not too much. Do you get what I mean? So it's you're still quite filtered, even though you feel more comfortable with that one colleague. It's still like, walls up and stuff.
That was so interesting because we had that discussion one of my training days. Basically, the trainer, she was teaching, and then she said, "Do you know what? I'm getting tired of this class." She was like, "You guys are so polite," and like, because people were saying their points, but people were contradicting, saying, "I understand what you mean, and I don't want you to get an offence, but I think this felt like everybody was being very polite." And she was like, "I'm getting tired of this. Like, I need you not to like. I need to see that aggressive side."
Yeah.
And she asked everybody like, "Who are you?" So everyone was like, "Sherice." I was saying Sherice, blah blah blah. And she's like, "No. Who are you as a person?" So you have to go deeper, like who you are. And then she said, "I want you to say one struggle that you have that you don't think the rest of the people in the class has." And yes. And then, and what's it called?
Yeah, go on.
Is it hot?
Go on.
What's your editing skills like?
All right. I'll edit that out. No way.
Cool. But yeah, and she was basically, we had to say one struggle, blah, blah, blah. And I was mentioning the struggle I have like talking to people, and obviously being the only black person, especially in this class as well. It's a bit awkward sometimes. And the rest of the class was like, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that way," blah blah blah. I was like, "Yeah, right, because if I show you the real me, I'll be sitting by myself at lunch, right?" I'm lying now.
But to be honest here, I can't lie, I think it bodes well in my case. Because I don't know, everybody just sees me as that cool teacher, like, let me not trouble him, he's calm, he's cool. They chat to me very politely and stuff like that. I think the only instance where I felt a bit, it's just that, it's silly, bro. It's silly. But I must have been sitting down in a CPD meeting at extra training. And I went to the toilet. I come back and she's like, "Oh, it seems like you're not interested, Charles." Like, what's going on? So I just went to the toilet. What do you mean? She says, "Yeah, but you just don't seem like you're here and you're going in and out." I said, "Yeah, I went to the toilet." She's like, oh, do you want to change groups, working groups, in it, part of literacy? She said, I don't want to report you to your head of department, you know? I'm like, bro. So I went in there, I just felt, I didn't want to work in it, but then the white donny went toilet, came back, she didn't say nothing.
No kerfuffle.
But I was like, you know what?
Tables.
Yeah, but just stuff like that pisses me off. The little stuff like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, everyone's quite calm, man. Everyone, I think workplaces are learning slowly as well, and a lot of us are integrating into our workplaces a lot more.
Yeah. This, I agree with all you guys as well because I can relate to it as well. But it reminded me of a term that both someone that I studied for my dissertation and Freud, if you've heard of him.
Sigmund
Freud. They use the word unheimlich. So that's a German word. So literally that means unhomelike. And the more, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but the more accurate word is uncanny, like an uncanny feeling. So like an outsider experience of something. So it's like when I read this interview, it felt as though he was reminding me of that experience. And that experience is pretty much like the feeling of anxiety. So I felt like, oh yeah, that is how I feel. Like you feel like a certain anxiety. You don't feel at home when you're in a certain environment. And it's even illustrated at the beginning of this film when Lakeith, with Lakeith Stanfield, when he was walking, he was just talking about this suburb and all this stuff like that. And then he was just like, he just felt like he wasn't at home. He felt like he didn't belong. Yeah. And from that one felt like it's, that scene felt like it symbolized a lot of you being in a place where you're in uncharted territory or you're in white territory. So then it's kind of like, you have to be on edge. You're feeling like you're on edge all the time. Even though it's familiar, it's kind of like, there's reason to be anxious. Even though everything seems friendly, it's like, there's reason to be anxious.
No, 100%. It's like, you know when you go to someone else's house, no matter how comfortable you are, it could be your best friend, it's still a bit... Obviously, it's not... I don't think it's any... You know...
You don't think it's...
You don't have a sense of ownership in our neighbourhood, I don't think. Like, we're always governed by someone, or this is for you, or you can have this much, or house share, or council house, you know. I don't know. In America, it might be a bit different, innit? You have your land or whatever, you bought your house, a bit cheaper than here. But over here, I don't think you can walk into any neighbourhood. I don't even think the whites walk into the neighbourhood and feel like... I don't know, but London just has a different sense of none of this is yours. You can play with it, you can rent it, whatever. But then the higher the houses get, like West Hampstead, or you go into Central, like Office Circus, the higher that gets, in it, that sense of...
okay, so you feel like it's always there.
I think it's always there for everyone on different levels as well.
Yeah.
Not just one race. So.
Yeah. I feel like, and that's what the guy I'm talking about, Heidegger, he's saying that feeling of anxiety is like at the base of our everyday decisions, our everyday interactions.
100.
So it's like, obviously, of course, there's going to be times where you'll have an anxiety attack where it's on 100. But he's saying that that's at the base of it. And when Jordan Peele said that, it was kind of like he's highlighting what this guy had said.
Because like, we always have a sense of uncertainty in it.
Yeah.
Every decision, we don't know how it's going to pan out.
Yeah.
It's just a literal theory in it.
Yeah.
So I guess that comes with some anxiety, I guess.
So I was going to say, what would you say is most unique about Jordan Peele's depiction of racism through this film?
The fact that he put it in a comedy horror.
That's not unique, though, is it?
When have you seen a American
comic horror?
Comic horror, but like depicting the race as well.
Yeah,
I was going to say Django, that's not horror, is it?
No.
Oh, Django was quite okay. Django was okay.
But it wasn't horror.
That was comedy action.
That was the Western. I thought that was a Western, man.
Western's action.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No, but Western is his own genre.
You haven't watched Django?
No.
And people getting at me about get out. It's your friends, mate.
I didn't know that.
You need to know your friends.
I've always said
No,
I was
you
going
bring
to watch
your
it,
house.
but I just never got around to it.
Wow.
Oh, no. It's what you said at the beginning. The fact that they highlighted the kind of sense of endearment is what's different about every other race film.
Yeah.
Every other race film is just about what we've been through, innit?
Yeah.
This one is letting them know why psychologically the white people might have done that to us.
Yeah, it's true.
Or are you? Yeah, one thing I was thinking. You said why that they've done it to us, but couldn't it be how the racism has evolved? Because before they could have just wanted us off this earth, and would have wanted rid of us, wanted us in Africa and stuff. But this one seems as though they want us around, but they want us around for their own benefit.
Yeah.
So I think it's showing how it's evolved. Yeah, just take the whole thing. Just take.
Just breathe in. Wait. Now my issue that still gonna have to pause this thing.
Okay.
You know I can't even act mad.
Alright, so I thought of it more like it's showing how racism has evolved and showing modern day racism. And I don't even think it's a black thing as such, but I feel like black people are mainly part of that, the damage, the collateral damage, but I feel like it's mainly to people who are disenfranchised.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by disenfranchised? Because
people that are denied of rights, or like people that are discriminated against.
okay.
So like, let's say, for me, this when I was watching this film for the first time, it reminded me of an essay, or actually an article that I read, a philosophy article I read in third year, which was about medical ethics, because we were talking about the whether people should do surrogacy or whatever. So then there was a lot of positive sides to it. And then I was reading a lot of the positives. I was thinking, okay, yeah, surrogacy doesn't sound like anything's wrong with it, blah, blah, blah. And some guy called David King, I forgot what the article's called, but he said that, yeah, surrogacy is good in theory, and when we think about it, away from the system that we're in, but we have to think about it in the system that we're in, which is capitalism. And so then you have to realize that if we do surrogacy, it might seem like it's empowering the women, but remember that there might be times where people in power use it to kind of take advantage of those who really need the money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, people in poorer countries, they would probably offer to do the surrogacy at a much more menial rate than people in this country. And so it's kind of like, yeah, it was just talking about that. And so then I was thinking about when he said, at the end, when the white guy said, oh, I could give a F about your race, I just want your eyes, it reminded me of that. So I just felt like, oh, it wasn't even a black thing, but it's just the people who are in a lesser position of power that would fall victim to the interests of the powerful.
Yeah. Do you know what I also found interesting as well about the movie, what I picked up on, is that he had so much signs going towards the place, and he still went on.
Which signs are you thinking of?
So the deer.
Yeah.
The fact that she didn't tell her parents, I thought that was a big sign.
Okay, remind me of that after you finish.
And
didn't tell her parents that he was black.
Yeah. To your point, when I was like, I voice noted Ketch, and I was like, why didn't he go home? I would have been like, do you know what? I think I left my straighteners on. I gotta go home. When he saw Georgina in the kitchen standing there, for me, that would have been a blatant sign. Get your ass out. But do you know what? It's so interesting because it's like, it happens nowadays. Like, there's so much times when people say things to you and whatever, and you see the signs when someone, red flag, and you keep allowing it. Well, I know for me, it's just little things. You just pick up and you're like, okay, that's a bit strange. But you go, no, it's not. You keep on walking, you keep on going with your day, and you keep on moving forward. And it's like, why don't, like, what's that thing that keeps us pushing through? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because we don't want to come across paranoid, you know what I mean? Because it might just be like our own minds playing on us.
And I thought it was so like, the way it was portrayed in here was like, it's so submissive, because even when the police officer stopped him and he was willing to give, even though it didn't make sense, it didn't make no sense.
He's too submissive.
I
don't think he represents like a normal guy. I think he's just like, I can't explain it. I think he's just like a doll for us to see all the things that could potentially happen.
But do you not think that's like how most people are?
Yeah, I feel like because he knew he was black, and it's just like, you don't want to be over, like,
do you know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy that's like...
So if he was with the TSA guy, it might have been different.
Yeah. He
Now, the
would have been
TSI guy would have been different.
I know.
He would have probably still been similar to him.
reactions would have definitely been different. He would have been like, oh hell.
He would have been like,
Yeah, like he would have went out.
TSA, that's my identification. Spell it. TSA. That would have been him. That's my ID. About ID. And now I'm driving. And then you know when you're watching that, because before we found out that she was in on it, you're thinking, oh, is she that white person in society that tries to protect us? Blah, blah, blah. But really, it was because she didn't want no trace of him and the people them. In the people them.
No, I thought she did that, yeah, just to overcompensate. That's all I thought.
Did you not see the look she gave? Like, when I thought back to it, yeah, he was like, listen, ma'am, and she gave a look like...
I think it was two birds with one stone. It was Saeed's way so that we didn't know the story, and it was your way in reality, innit? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's both.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I did not clock that at all. No. I actually thought it was just her trying to be the, like, show that she's not racist, and show that she's not racist, and it kind of repeats when she was brushing her teeth, and then she was talking about her family. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that was the overcompensation as well. So then that's why I always just see the overcompensation.
Because you know you got people like that in society when you're like, why are you so angry? Like,
yeah. But at the same time,
even though it was an overcompensation, I still believed it. When I watch it back now, then I see it.
Yeah, of course. But I feel like, but are they wrong to do that? Or is it, let's say for example, wait, hold on. You know how some people say that if you don't say something, then you're consenting to the injustice?
Yeah.
So then the fact that she was doing all that, is it just her way of kind of, what's the word? Making up for, like, or standing up for us? If of course, if she wasn't corrupted. I mean, let's say the white people that do that.
100%. We talk about it time and time again, and I think there's like a little bubble on Twitter that's bubbling up talking about, white saviors that go to Africa and stuff, and we should stop it, innit? And that's even a sense of overcompensation. But I think at the same time, it's charitable, and the same way people say the police should be doing something, but they complain about knives on the street. I don't get it. Like, you're not donating back to Africa, and if you was, it would be to your one uncle or your one grandma. But then when UNICEF is donating something, no matter how many minuscule of what they collected, they're donating. Who's doing something? Which one?
We just don't know what we want. We're just so confused.
How can you be calling people white savior, calling them out for going to Africa? Their life mission, helping children. And I get both sides of the story, which is, a bit... It gets a bit weird, because at the end of the day, you're still portraying the stereotype of that, but how can it be a stereotype if most of the continent is third world? You know what I mean? You are... Obviously, people want to shout about the good bits of these countries now, but...
there is still bad parts. Yeah. Well, there's bad parts still here. That's the thing as well. Like, wait, what was I gonna... I said to you to remind me of something. What was it again?
Her not telling her mom. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you had a partner that was white, would you expect them to tell their parents what race you are?
From the first date?
Yeah. I would.
Yeah. From the first date, I would expect them. Yeah. Before they even come and talk to me, I'll tell them, you're not using me to come and teach your parents how to be liberal.
Okay.
Are you mad?
Okay. I mean, I get what you mean.
I think I get what you mean, but explain a little bit more.
You see, like when Asian girls try to marry black men. For me, if you knew your parents were going to make a fuss, you knew you were going to get kicked out of the house and all disowned and stuff like that, and the boy didn't know, why are you bringing him into that, fam?
Okay,
you didn't even have this discussion like an adult.
I see what you mean. Yeah, because, there was like I think there's like not really a debate, because I feel like everyone is saying what you guys are saying, that, you should tell them. But is it racist to kind of bring it up
No, it's not.
As
Same way I'll say, oh, she had nice weave, she had black weave, or she had blonde hair. I'm not going
And
to say she was black.
this is the point I was making in training. Like, everyone has this thing where they're scared to say someone's colour. And then some of the person's like, no, because we don't see colour. You're effing liar.
You better see my
How
colour.
can you not see colour? We're different colours for a reason.
Yeah.
Would you thought this was fun? Like, God was bored. No. It's for a reason. Like, people are different. That's what it's showing. There's no problem. You can describe me as the black girl but standing over there. I'm black. I'm a girl standing over here. What?
Yeah.
I take no offence to that whatsoever.
but like you said, we don't know what we want. Some people are offended by that, though.
How can you be offended?
I'm not saying.
I know what they're going to say. No, do you know what they're going to say? Because I'm not just black. There's more to me.
But it's a description of what you look like.
Yeah.
On looking at you, this is what I'm saying.
An adjective. Like, it's a describing word. Like, you are black.
You have a problem with being black.
Long hair.
If you don't want to be described as being black, just a first account, like just looking at you, that means you have a problem with being black.
Okay.
I think it is more awkward. I mean, I think it's more suspicious if you're tiptoeing around saying
Yeah.
Like,
I have to be like, what, the black lady?
You know what I mean? Like, why
And
do
then
you
they're
do that? You know, like when they're like, you know, your what colour?
Well, she looks a bit like you.
I would. Doesn't mean.
Yeah, nah. Well, when people.
What about you? Would you just if you was to fall in love with a white woman?
Yeah.
And would you tell your parents or would you wait for them?
I'll say that. Yeah, she. It will come up. It's like oh yeah, she's. I don't know if you're describing her. She said, oh, what's she like? It's kind of like, oh yeah, she's from an English family. She's da 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 da. It'll come up. Like it's not it like.
For me, I would say, like, say the date was on a Thursday. I'll tell my mum on Sunday coming back from church. Say, you know I'm going out with this white girl.
Yeah.
What do you think? That's what I'm saying.
It'll come up.
I'm mad close to my mum anyway.
And it's like, wouldn't it naturally come up? Because when you're telling your mum about someone, they're naturally going to ask, oh, where are they from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you're going to be
You're
like...
gonna ask, what does he look like? You're gonna show pictures. You're gonna show, no?
You're either going to show or you're going to describe. Yeah. No, I agree. No, I agree with you guys. But it was just a question that was going on. Like, was she wrong to say no? They don't know. But yeah, like you said, Charlie, I agree. Like, it would be more suspicious if she tiptoes around it because it makes it seem as though you don't want to touch on that issue for some reason. Yeah, so it's a bit more suspicious.
And you see it as an issue.
And you see it as an issue as well. I was going to ask, how were your initial impressions of the film versus repeated viewings? I know that Charlie and Gladys will be able to talk on this, but I'll have to catch up with you, Sherice, on that.
I'm still with it.
You're still with
I can tell. Yeah, I'm still with
It loses its novelty, to be honest.
it. A little bit, yeah.
But then,
But I kind of clock onto more things when I do watch it next time.
Yeah.
obviously, but I think it's good on the first time watch. Like, I wouldn't sit down and watch it again. Even the times you put it on, I've muted it and played music in it. Like, I don't think it's a thing to watch again for me, because I don't like the horror genre anyway. I'd watch it again for the TSA guy, probably.
Yeah.
It's funny. And I watch anything he's in now just because of this.
He's in, what's that show called? Comedian guy. Skinny, slim guy. Forgot his name.
He does impressions?
Black.
No, he doesn't. Looks like a loser.
Yeah. Him.
I know, Gerard.
Gerard Carmichael.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Did you say he was like a loser?
Yeah.
And you said, yeah. I'm dead. What is a loser? I'm dead.
He's like a typical nerd. Like.
It's like a loser. Oh, this part when she's
I didn't quite get this bit.
she's fighting. Look, she's saying no. It's like she's fighting the grandma's hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like this is
But
when
what made her come out? Like,
because he said you feel awkward being around. No, he said he feels awkward being around all these
Too much white people.
Yeah, white people. Sorry, and it was like her real self
was trying to come out.
battling to say get up,
Yeah.
and the grandma self is saying
No.
Do you know how fucking shook I'll be when I'm in that chair at the end? Oh my gosh.
But even him putting the thing in his
And
face.
I didn't realise what happened, and he's got the documentary.
That's why he was just like, this is crazy.
Fuck.
That's why he's like, this is crazy.
That's all he said and it annoyed me. Don't you have nothing else to say? Like,
You can't say anything else.
Just say
What
something
else
else.
you can say?
Is he crazy?
No, that's what you can
Harness
say.
my body.
I'm just frustrated that he stayed there that long. That's why I'm irritated.
Yeah.
I'm irritated. Look at all of this. And you're trying to tell me there was no sign. I'm walking outside and everyone's looking at me like I'm some
It's when he went upstairs. When he went up the stairs there, and I think he closed the door.
and everyone was
just,
quiet.
Yeah. That was just like.
No, that was a madness.
And no one, nothing said to him.
No, he didn't hear that.
And you know what made me as well? He's like, Rosie, we gotta get out of it. Like, babe, you're safe here. I'm not worried about you. This is me.
I'm
so if you
trying to
come
go
back home,
home.
I'm gone. Like, now-ish.
But that's what he did do. He did do that though. He said, "Oh, I'm going. I'm planning to go," and then she said she'll come.
Yeah, but they were sitting there kissing still and all that. Like, you weren't really trying to go. I'm saying I would have been saying it standing up while I was walking away. Like,
All the planet of my own accord. You don't know where I'm going.
right, and no, like, gone to get milk.
I needed fresh air, man. That's it.
Good to get milk.
Imagine.
Oh my goodness.
This part, man. The flash thing. And do you know what? How typical is that? You're taking a picture of someone on the train and the flash is still on.
Wasn't it like a underlying meaning of like being able to record yourself during like police brutality and stuff?
I've heard about that. Yeah, I have heard about that.
That's why it was phones and stuff.
And that's why it snaps the black people out of their marginalisation.
Oh my god, this movie's giving me chills. Oh, do you know what? This is taking me back to A-level drama. Like, this is. Did you do drama? In
The
that school?
underlying meanings and stuff. I did drama.
Oh, when you're just analysing things, you're analysing programs and movies.
That camera thing's far-fetched, though.
No, I think it's got significance.
I think it's got significance.
I think it's true.
He's a photographer.
Because I was thinking at first.
Yeah, the photographer. Like,
Yeah, photographer. That's the medium. That's the motif they're going back to. I don't think it's the world star hip hop. We like world star hip hop. Like everyone has smartphones. What's the significance?
No, as in like.
No, as in like, you know how everybody was recording. Like, I think when the film came out as well, there was like loads of like Facebook lives, recordings of like
officers and stuff
of police officers like attacking these black men, you know, and black women in America. And even they set out that law that you can record. Like they told people that, you know what?
What, you talking about Get Out? The premiere or something? Or
No. Just saying that Get Out is using that as a symbol for.
No, but I'm saying how though? It's just a couple pictures and he's a photographer, so I'm linking it to him being a photographer more than the police brutality recording. I'm trying to get more evidence for
the
that. The
reason why is because the fact that
it was a phone rather than it was his photography camera. Do you get what I mean?
Well, he wouldn't try and take a slide with his photography camera, and when he did, he got caught, so he put it down.
But no, the phone was to his friend though. Like he was going to send that to Rod. Remember? And he sends it to Rod.
I just think it's a bit. We use technology. How we use it though.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
Yeah,
we use technology to kind of tell of like what's going on, like the police brutality, and it snaps black people out of their trance.
Nah, I can't link that. Still.
You can't link it.
I can't link that still.
Well, yeah. But no, I believe that one does seem like it's.
I'm not hearing what you got to say though to link it. I'm just hearing you say one thing and then the other. I'm not seeing the connection. Like, how does it snap us out of it in real life? How does it do that?
Because it's snapping out because you're starting to realise, everyone's starting to, actually, to be fair, we was realising from time.
No, but the thing is, I think it's true. Because, you know, like the whole, you know the Rodney King takes, when people used to talk about Rodney King being beaten on camera, and people still use that, and he had like a long trial about it. And then it kind of woke people up to the police brutality and the marginalisation that is happening. And so I feel like what he's using is saying that when we use cameras, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we snap out of the whole, yeah, like everything's okay, everything's...
But then we could get touched up again and then we're back to normal. Oh, go on, search.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, as in, like, we just go back into the sunken place sometimes. And then we feel like, then we don't have a voice anymore. It kind of like, it's like the sunken place is what Jordan Peele said is like, representative of the fact that we're marginalised and we don't have a voice and everything's like suppressed and everything like that. So the fact that there's a camera, it kind of like gives us a voice to kind of speak. And then, let's say we might go back underneath the hypnotism or whatever, and then we just go quiet again.
I understand that if it was filming, but it's a literal picture of a flash.
But
because I feel like at the end of the day, that's what they've been using Do you get what I mean? Like, that's what they've been using as evidence to show that, you know, this
So
is our
just
moment. Do you get what I mean?
injustices in general, not police brutality towards black people, because we've been recording every injustice in the world now. We've been seeing the slaves in Libya, we've been seeing how North Korea is just a very militant state and the people are suffering. So why is the camera relating to the black people so much more than anything else in the world? I don't understand that.
It's not, but that's what they're talking about here. So yeah, bring up North Korea.
No, but I'm just saying, like, how is that significant? Why would it be significant? Like, it's not only black things that are being recorded. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but what?
Yeah, but that's what in the
What is it
film.
gonna be about?
No, but I'm not. But why would you draw that significance to the camera? I'm not drawing that to the race or issues. I'm drawing that to the fact that that's his career, innit? That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying. I'm literally trying to negate. I'm trying to say I don't think that's significant, innit? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm literally trying to say I don't think that's significant. That brings you my reasons as to why.
I see the link. I see the whole, and I think he needed that flash camera to kind of symbolise that whole snapping out. They needed something that was abrupt. That's why he didn't just record it with his thingy.
Yeah.
Because you need that
No,
instant.
you're talking about the actual device they use for them to snap out of it. But I'm saying the link to police brutality. Why is that necessary? Why is that? I understand the flash. I agree with the flash. I think the flash is excellent. I'm saying I don't think it links to police brutality and the way we film all of
To come out of the sunken place. The sunken place is just marginalisation in general. In general. So then the fact that we snap out of it once we get like a...
But we're talking about race in this movie though, as you just said. So why are you changing it now?
Well, that's...
You're moving goalposts now. So now you're saying the totality. Now you're saying that is marginalised people in general. But when I just talked about North Korea and that, you said we're talking about black people though. So I'm saying, how does the...
No, I mean marginalisation of black people, because this is about black people. I mean marginalisation of black people.
Yeah. But how? How does that relate to the camera?
Because we've been seeing all these videos of police brutality and all that stuff.
Videos, but not
videos.
Pictures.
Yeah, but why does that matter though?
Because
I don't understand why. They're both evidence.
He's a photographer, he's not a film.
Yeah, but videos are just photos in motion. So why is it that you can't see that there's a connection? Why do you feel like there's like...
He's a photographer, innit? And if it was like... If that theory was more concrete, I think I would see it better. I'm not seeing it at all, is what I'm saying.
Do you know what, right? Oh, God.
Go on.
I think I like the idea of the whole snapshot and snapping you out, blah, 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 something like that. But I get your confusion because if, for instance, it was the scene where he was getting stopped by the police officer and he was asking for the license and then someone flashed, I would have more got it and I would have more seen it. But because he's just with his girlfriend, wife, sex master, whatever, and then they do the flash, I kind of get why you don't get it, if that makes sense. But I think I like the idea of it, that's why I'm willing to understand it.
If somebody flashed when the police stopped them.
Yeah, so to kind of identify and highlight the actual injustices. He went out on his own until he saw the mess.
And then this door just conveniently opened. Like, it's just conveniently... Wouldn't you... Okay, imagine you have pictures of you with your exes and whatever.
Why are you keeping
You're going to leave it in a cupboard
them?
that the door is open.
That man sleeps in. The room that he sleeps in.
And not think that we're nosy as hell. Come on, I just thought this part was just a bit... This was when this is when they started to plan to trick him now. They wanted him to realise what was happening.
Oh, swear. Why don't you just ask him?
Telling him. Basically, this is what it is. You ain't leaving here. This is what I do.
So you thought this is what we do. No way out.
Yeah.
That's what you felt like. That's what I thought that that was an accident. Oh wait, yeah, I thought that was an accident.
How could that not accident?
On purpose.
You felt like it was on purpose?
Yeah. There's no way you could leave them pictures just chilling.
No way.
With the door open.
No way. The red box in the middle.
Red, you know, not that. Not white. Not in casual, like beige. Red, that means, look at me. Hey.
Yeah, danger, yeah.
Look at the man there.
That's how many penises has she taken, though?
She was trying to take more.
Don't worry, she was about. She didn't just take penises.
So grandma wanted the top up, buddy.
Alright, so
does that mean the son does it as well?
The son does what he did to Lakeith Stanfield at the beginning. He was the guy in the mask at the beginning and he got him in the headlock, remember?
That's why he likes people putting people in headlock. That's his thing.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, they're both savage.
You're laughing.
Fake, man. Make believe. Good luck to you guys.
Alright. Charlie, you catch you. Oh.
Don't know.
So, I was going to ask, is there any more symbols that you guys picked up from watching?
I watched this in the cinema, innit?
Yeah.
And when I watched it at the time, there was like bare like hype around the film,
Mm-hmm.
and on Twitter there was like bare threads about the hidden meanings
Mm-hmm.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I read up on them and stuff.
Before you watch the movie?
Not after.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
after I watched the movie, and it was just like, it's like one of them things that you just see and then you're just like, oh wow, is that what them? And what really like sat with me was that he had to, I think they said when he was in the chair and he had to pick the cotton to put it in his ears.
Yeah.
He literally had to pick cotton to put it in his ears. And I was
I didn't even clock that.
Yeah.
I didn't even clock that.
Yeah.
Oh
Joking.
my days, man.
Like,
Oh my God. Jordan Peele, you're my fave.
Yeah.
You are my fave.
Yeah, literally.
We told you that you like this film.
The cotton.
Out of all things,
Oh.
like everything was literally like set up.
That man is teased.
Yeah.
Teased.
But this is the reason why I felt like I couldn't understand why Charlie couldn't get it, because it seemed like everything else was so intricate.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a stretch for me.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
he meant.
it's like you won't see it, like you've been saying, when you watched it the first time, you're literally watching it. And then I think probably why he can't see it, because he doesn't rewatch it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
I
feel
watched
like,
it once and I can sort of gather what you're saying.
yeah.
But I think it's because it's fresh in your mind and you like it like that. And to be honest, if someone told me all the stuff just after I watched it, I'll be like, oh, in the way that you're reacting, I'll be like the same. Because when I walked out of the cinema, when I watched it the first time, I was like, my mind was racing. I was thinking like so many things. I was thinking, wait, what could this mean? What could that mean? But I feel
in
like
the shower,
Yeah.
like, like, shit, man, like, what? Like, yeah, it got me. I got some pointers as well that I picked up on.
yeah. So yeah, what are yours?
But like, from the beginning, the music playing, what struck out to me is the music that was playing in the time it was set in. I knew already what kind of thing it was going to be.
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Run Rabbit Run?
I don't know the name of it, but it was quite old music.
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
reminded me, because I've watched like 12 Years a Slave, Django, Butler and all that, and it's the type of music, not the Butler, but the other two, it was the type of music that they play like sitting in their posh rooms and whatever with the port or whatever they're drinking. Like that's what it, basically the music didn't fit in with the scene. So I knew it was something back in the day that was going to be brought into modern day, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
I knew what it was going to do.
Yeah.
Even the car that the son that we now know was the son was driving to do the U-turn to put him in a headlock was an old car, style car. It didn't fit the scene. Like the way Jordan Peele just got things that from back in the day, I'll say the 30s, guessing, and just placed it in modern day to say that everything's still everything's still there. I was just like, that was the first minute into it.
Yeah.
That's when I started messaging Ketch. Like,
Yeah.
bruh.
Yeah. You already clocked. Now, for me, it took me a couple watches to kind of clock onto that stuff. Like the music playing, it was kind of like, for me, I think it was something like Run Rabbit Run or something like that. And then it reminded me like Elmer Fudd, kind of like trying to catch rabbits. Like these are deer to kind of catch, or like these are things to kind of to appropriate, or things to kind of collect or whatever. And so then it felt like that when him and Rose hit the deer, it felt like, oh, so they're just deer, or like they're just game for these white people or something like that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. No, but to be honest, I'm surprised that you clocked onto that on the first.
A-level drama. Got an A girl. I mean, guy. I got an A.
What else? What other symbols do you think are?
There's just black mold that got me.
Black mold?
When when he was doing the tour, or even when he was like, you want to unpack your bags before you do the tour, and then he's going around and then even when he said his dad lost out on the Olympics to a black guy,
Yeah.
and then he was like, he almost got over it, And I was like, oh shit. So what did he do? Like,
To get over. Yeah.
Like,
oh no, he's still.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen? Do you know what I mean? And then even when they were walking towards the kitchen, this is just before they were about to see Georgina. And this is the reason why the Georgina thing went, I would have been good, like, you would have saw my dust, you saw the outline of me. Like, is when just before that, there was a door, and the door was closed, no one really clocked it. And the dad made a point of mentioning, oh, we have to keep that door closed because there's black mold down there. Black mold.
I remember.
And it's like,
I never clocked that though.
Yeah, I didn't clock that.
it just struck out because black mold, and I was like, either he's talking about that's where he keeps the servants and stuff like that, that's where they stay.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. But like there was something significant about that. Like the fact that he had to, and it's the same thing, the same problem that, not the problem, the same thing that strikes me in this movie is that the dad keeps on throwing little things out there where he should be reacting and he should be going, I'm getting out of here, but he stays there, and it's sort of saying, it don't matter what I say to you, and it don't matter what I do to you, and it don't matter what like symbols I show you, I know you're still going to stay here because it's that whole, he's submissive.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what strikes me. It's like, raw, like, and it, this movie was
Lost
just
the way.
I feel like
fucking good.
I feel like he was aware of that, like he would be submissive in that situation. I feel like he had an awareness that he wouldn't want to be too outlandish.
Because
or
even when
anything.
she wanted to pop off, the girl wanted to pop, he was like, don't worry about it, don't do it. Like, yeah, it was just every single situation that was brought out to him, he was still not reacting on it. He was still going by what, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though he knew it was an issue, even though he saw the red flag, he still went along with it. He still stayed. He still stayed another night. And it was just...
Would you feel like that represents us in some way or something? Is that why you see it?
Yeah, like, I was pissed off. I know it sounds so small, but like, even like the Gucci thing that came when the guy was when the Gucci thing that looked like blackface and whatever.
Gucci thing.
Yeah, Gucci outrage.
Gucci's cancer.
Oh, that thing, yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the film, sorry.
Yeah,
You're
like,
talking about the actual thing. Oh.
Yeah, because you asked me, do you think it's like...
Oh, yeah.
Even though we know they're taking the piss out of us, we're still going to go buy Gucci stuff. Even though we know that they rate us, we're still going to go buy their things.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll all Gucci belt out. And even when I'm looking at the picture, I'm getting pissed off with myself, but I'm like, it was expensive. like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's just mad. We're still going on with it. We're still going on with it.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to seem like that person that's like, I'm against all. I'm not. It's weird. It's like...
Yeah, I don't think you have to be against everything as such, but I think it just highlights how deep the racism goes and how deep how deep the conditioning goes. It's like, even though there's things that like they can throw out that shows that it's kind of like, we don't care about you or this, that, and the third.
You literally made a jumper that looks like blackface.
Yeah.
But you didn't care because you knew full well we would still buy your product.
Yeah.
You knew.
And I think that's that whole awareness of them knowing, like I said, the dad, he knew he could stretch it.
I got another
He
point.
knew he could say it.
Sorry. Even when he was locked up in the chair and the TV came on, the man in the TV said, apparently it works better when you know all the facts. Like, I don't know if you remember when he was he was saying it works, the hypnosis or whatever works better. That's why they had a discussion. That's why he started telling him, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen to you, blah, blah, blah. Because apparently it works better
if you're aware.
When you know what's going on. And it's like, shit. Like, I was this is what I was thinking about in the shower. This is what I was thinking about walking to your house today.
Yeah.
Like, my mind was just like...
So the submissiveness and the subordination works better when you know, like, when you
you're
know...
aware of what's going on. And it's true, now that I think about it.
Because
Because if you didn't pick up on those cues...
It's all about being superior. And it shows that they've got the ultimate power because I can show you.
And you would
what
still
I'm doing,
believe,
and you still
follow me.
I could be wrong. I could be just going...
That's the point.
That's
still.
That's how I saw it. It was like, flip, like,
And it makes sense now that I think of it.
No, it makes sense. I never put onto that, but it makes sense.
Neither.
There's so much symbolism in this film, man. It's too much.
He's my favourite. Like, Jordan Peele was just up top.
Yeah. From this movie, I was just like, when I was in the cinema, everyone was clapping at the end. Like, I was just like, yes, this is it.
I would have been sitting there in silence, like. Like, I literally walked into my mom's and my mom was sleeping, and I was just like, you need to watch Get Out. You need to watch Get Out.
It's a lot. And there was that point at the end where she was eating cereal.
Oh, yes, that as well. That's another symbol. Apparently, that's her kind of doing like a controlled integration thing. Because she had the coloured cereal and the white milk.
And they weren't in a bowl together. She was eating it
she was mixing them, but in moderation. One by one. Controlled, that kind of thing. And what do you think about actually Rod? You know, his whole conspiracy theory, sex slave and stuff. It's kind of like, when I was watching it, it's kind of like we have an idea, and sometimes it sounds as though, like, let's say black people in general, we might say, white people are really supposed to trying to do this, we're trying to do this, all these conspiracy theories. And it's like they're touching at the truth, they're nearly there, but it's like not quite.
Tell me, who does Rod, don't say no names obviously, but who does Rod remind you of? We all know him on Snapchat. We have him on Snapchat.
Oh!
I swear to God, because you know when you sit there, you got that friend and you sit there most times saying, oh, shut up, man, shut up. But he's talking to you like he knew from the get-go, he warned the guy, don't go. That's our guy. That's what he will do. He will tell you
Definitely.
and we'll sit there and we'll be like, oh, you're just doing too much. Shut up. And we'll go. And then he'll be the one to say to you that. And he will be the one to saying, I told you. He won't shed away, he won't hide it, he will tell you.
You man.
Told you.
You man.
Yeah, you man.
Like,
Told you.
who does that?
Yes, it is still. It is.
I was like, it is. And now I'm gonna actually start looking at his Snapchat properly.
For real. Big fact. Big fact.
It's true still.
Like,
and he's the comedian now. It's always the comedian.
He's the funny one. He's the guy you usually tell to shut up. He's like you roll your eyes like Snapchat. Like, he's the guy.
Real.
Like, him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
It's him still. Oh, that's mad.
I hope you watch.
Oh, snap. But is there any other symbols that you guys had in your repertoire?
Obviously, like just the bidding, like they were bidding for him. Basically.
Oh yeah, the bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo for blackness. What do you think of this? The significance of the Japanese guy at the party?
He didn't seem to fit it. I was like,
Are you gonna back my man? That's what I was thinking. So you with them?
I didn't get. It struck me, but I didn't know what to make of it.
Apparently, from what I've listened to online, it seems as though
no, this is the what. I was telling them this is my favorite what. This is my favorite. He was like, you're confused. Okay, 1 second. Oh, that's the TSA training right there. And then when you talk to someone, and then she flipped it. He was like, "Oh, she's a genius."
He had to admit. Ronnie is up there, yeah. But what I was gonna say, the Japanese guy in the place. Apparently, from what I've read around and what I've listened to, it seems as though it's kind of showing how people from these Asian backgrounds, Oriental backgrounds, they still have a certain superiority in terms of their place within US society, the hierarchy. Even though they are other to white people and they are foreigners, they still have like what's the word?
A place.
A place, I suppose, yeah.
Seat at the table, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Seat at the table. And also the fact that he kind of said things plain how it was, like, he's the only person that said things like how it was. Like, he said, how does it feel being a black man Do you feel like it's more of a challenge or whatever?
That's that ignorance though, because I think the white people didn't, because they know. Actually, I don't know, because that just contradicts what I think. I'm gonna read it, because I want you to see the part when he's like, I know that hypnosis works when you're honest. I suppose, yeah, you guys can read.
Concerns you may have so far. Apparently, our common understanding of the process has a positive impact on the success rate of the procedure.
So, our common understanding. Do you get it? Like, I don't know, actually. Maybe that's not.
No. It seems like it, but it's like. That's
the success rate of the procedure. It's us being honest and playing with each other.
Yeah. No, it fits. It's just I'm trying to. The reason why I'm quiet is not because I'm doubting. It's more like I'm trying to piece it together. Yeah, piece everything together. Because it's a new idea.
Transplantation. Imagine someone saying that to you. Because I was just like. Because even when he said transplantation, I was like, of what? Like, you for a million years, you're not thinking, is he really going to take part of my brain out? Like, flipping out, man.
At this point, he was thinking, why?
Yeah.
This girl. Why did I choose this girl? And I was thinking donuts.
This is a nightmare situation.
Yeah. And even here, he looks a bit relaxed there when he knew.
Yeah.
No, he's just hopeless because he doesn't know. What can you do?
Yeah.
Like, in that situation.
Like, he became.
And he was probably thinking, these damn clues that was just there.
His mind's racing. He wants to cry.
Yeah.
Daniel. Is it Daniel Kaluuya or David Kaluuya? Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Wicked actor.
Yeah, very good actor. Oh yeah. So also another symbol is the fact that there is a quote where it says that someone, I can't remember who it is, but someone said that the master's weapons will never be used to overthrow the master.
Oh.
So, but this scene where obviously he's picking the cotton and then he actually kills hurts with the master's weapons and stuff, with the deer, with the ball and the whatever, all these other things, like the knife as well.
The gun, yeah.
It's kind of showing that how it is possible to kind of overthrow. It challenges that idea of not being able to overthrow the system with the tools that they've given us. What do you guys think about that? Do you feel like that it is possible to kind of like, what's the word? Overthrow or insurrect against the system that's already been in play? Like, let's say we live in the UK, so it's colonization. In America, it's the slavery. You know what I mean? So do you reckon that it would even be possible? Like, let's say, for example, we've grown up, we've got degrees in this country, which has colonized our homeland. Is it possible to kind of, I don't know, use what's been given to us to kind of change the system and flip things and to not be a victim?
I think so. I don't see why not.
I'd like to think so.
But what's making you doubt it?
Just all the other chances you've had. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously they're not big chances, but like the little, do you know what I mean? The little thread that if you keep picking, it becomes something. Like, we had so much chances, but we haven't taken it. And I think it's just.
I think this is what makes me understand. You know, like how people said that Malcolm X was a racist and that he hated white people and stuff like that. I feel like that's where the understanding, where people failed to try and understand what he was saying, part of their Nation of Islam, and then after that he was trying to be by himself when he converted to Sunni Islam. I feel like what he was saying is that the reason why he gravitated towards segregation between the black race and the white race, where you guys know that, right? That's what the Nation of Islam aimed for. I think the reason why they did that is because they knew that that system is so corrupt and so oppressive that you can't really assimilate into it. And I feel like people overlook the significance of what that means when they say that, they prefer Martin Luther King and so on and so forth. Of course, I respect Martin Luther King as well. But it's like I feel like this film kind of shows the dangers of trying to assimilate rather than separate. But I'm not saying that I'm for separation or anything like that. I'm just saying that these are the dangers that we still face, not literally, but figuratively. Like you said, like people, they can still take the piss out of us and we'll still buy into their products. We're still supporting them. We're still supporting that system. And we're still even though it's disrespectful to us, and even though the resources that have been used have been exploited, but have been taken through exploitation of our ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you said it all, mate. Like, honestly, you said it all. Like, yeah, that's what I feel like. That's what I feel like the movie's showing, but
Yeah.
it's
So intricate.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know, I think that whole detail is like what's beneficial in this movie.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I mean? I feel like it's like a new, like you said, it's not like every other black film talking about
slavery, and exploitation, is showing how it's evolved, and how it's still in place. Like what you said, Sherice, like how it's still, the foundations are still there. The foundations of exploitation, the foundations of oppression are still there, even if we don't see them as overtly or as explicitly. They're still part of the structure. Yeah, that benefits the powerful, I suppose. And like I said, I don't think it's just blackness. I don't think it's just blackness. I feel like I don't feel like it's just black people. I feel like it's blackness as such. I feel like capitalism, I suppose I should say, is representative of, no, whiteness is representative of capitalism. And it seems like blackness is representative of the disenfranchised. And so the fact that whiteness can take advantage of those who are disenfranchised is what this movie is trying to get across. Yeah. I suppose, more than anything. Because I don't think this is supposed to be a strict black or white thing. I think it's more like what the black and white represents.
I get what you mean. Yeah, definitely.
Because I still see probably poor white people are still victims of, can still be victims of this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So well, we've run overtime, like super overtime.
Pic.Think, thinking through media.
Yeah, do you have any concluding thoughts? Because we're running 25 minutes over time.
No. You better just cut here because I'll be here literally all day. Like, no word of a lie.
Okay, cool.
Overall, wicked movie.
Yeah. What would you rate it out of 10? What word would you use to describe it? Unless you've already used it, wicked movie.
It's wicked.
Yeah,
9.
Real deep.
Me, intricate. I think, like, well done. I don't know how to, like...
Did she stab him?
Yeah, in the hand, yeah.
And he's just over it. Like, he's just like, matter, mate.
But yeah, let me end it there.